Hey everyone, I wanted to continue talking about the Alex Preddy situation and the broader implications it has for our rights as Americans. As you know, the Trump administration has been completely complicit in violating pretty much all of our rights that are enumerated in the Constitution, as well as trampling all over states' rights. He's proven to violate the First Amendment and fully in support of it. And now the issue of the Second Amendment has befallen on our doorsteps as Americans. Now, I know the Second Amendment is a very contentious subject. I own guns. I think they're instrumental to our rights as Americans. I'm not a Republican. Contrary to popular belief, all sorts of people, liberals, progressives, conservatives, radical leftists, whatever you want to say. But it's always been Republicans and the gun lobby, the NRA, US CCA, and whatever, that has been fully in support of guns. But I find it interesting that a lot of these far-right gun channels, all these far-right gun organizations haven't spoken a fucking word about this situation involving a U.S. citizen and their firearm being used as a justification for blatant murder. This ICE agent clearly deholstered or unholstered his pistol. It was away from his body. And the mental gymnastics that some of these people go through to justify the killing of a goddamn nurse who was just doing his job and exercising his right as an American to protest against this corrupt administration. And it doesn't matter if the administration is corrupt or not. You can protest. That's your right as an American. Call it God-given if you want to, but I'm atheist. So he had a gun on him, a license to carry, and he was shot. And there's some people on Instagram, you know, the usual Project Liberty US, fucking Donald Trump Jr., goddamn Benny Johnson, those types of people who will look at this video and say, oh, well, he was clearly threatening the officer with it. And some people flat out lie and just say, oh, well, he was pulling the gun out, don't expect not to get shot. Now let's play with that for a second. Let's imagine he had this gun and he was holding it in his hand, which, by the way, is not true. He had it holstered, because you can see videos and multiple angles of him with his pistol holstered. And we can see that an ICE officer pulls the gun off of him. Let's just say that it was in his hand. Okay, if it was in his hand, then that could be interpreted as him using it in a threatening manner, and for the safety of the federal officers, they would be justified in shooting and killing him. But even if that firearm was in his hand, we can clearly see the ICE officer take it from him, and he still gets shot for it. And there's another detail a lot of people missed, which was, I think the ICE officer that pulled the gun off of him yelled, "Gun, gun, gun." I think that was intentional. I honestly do. At best, he is an untrained, unqualified hack. At worst, he was intentionally instigating a situation. You don't yell gun, gun, gun when it's safe. You yell safe, 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 or something of the sort. Because yelling gun, gun, gun to an officer, that means the person you're tackling on the ground, the detainee, has a gun and he's about to shoot. That just proves, and the people at the top are calling him a gunman or calling him an attempted murderer, a fucking terrorist, which he was not. He was not using the gun in any threatening manner. Just think about all the implications that this has. The GOP and the NRA have not spoken a single word. They've been a fucking champion. They've been fucking grandstanding about, oh, Second Amendment strong, 2A strong, America, don't tread on me, lost all my guns in a boating accident, whatever. And as soon as someone gets killed And the justification for them getting murdered is them exercising their Second Amendment rights. Think about what they will use that for. You think about Mao Zedong, you think about Stalin, you think about Nazi Germany, all these fascist, totalitarian regimes. What does the person at top always want to do? Is destroy the right to keep and bear arms, because an armed populace is anti to their goals of assuming complete and total control over a populace, because an armed populace can fight back. The NRA, and I just want to say something real quick, the GOP does not give a fuck about your gun rights, especially MAGA. MAGA does not give a fuck about your gun rights. The NRA does not give a fuck about your gun rights. Don't get fooled into thinking they give a shit about the right to keep and bear arms. All they care about is making money off of making people afraid for their life. You know, you have these assholes that come out after school shootings when nobody is actively threatening the right to bear arms, and they come out in the most rude and disrespectful way possible and start yelling about their guns being taken away or whatever, and fear-mongering about government control. Guess what, motherfucker? This is what you should be worried about. MAGA and the Trump administration will absolutely not even bat an eye to violate the rights of Americans and their right to bear arms. In the Constitution, it clearly states, a well-regulated militia necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And what does the Constitution protect against primarily? It could apply to citizen to citizen, but the Constitution primarily guarantees people their rights to protect them against government actions. This is exactly what the Second Amendment is about. It's about protecting people's rights to bear arms, specifically against the government. Because when the government has complete and total control over people who are unarmed, they can do nothing to fight back. And right now, our federal government is complicit in violating that fundamental right that Americans are guaranteed. It says, just think about it, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed by anyone. It doesn't say that, but it's implied by anyone. Not your brother, not your mom, not your city, not your county, not your state, and not your federal government. And the federal government is currently shitting on your rights. So to all you GOP assholes out there who are saying you care about gun rights and you support this motherfucker at the top, you do not give a fuck about people's gun rights. You are not true 2A when you see this shit happening and you support it. If you really care about gun rights, you will denounce this action. Anyways, I really feel strongly about 2A because I'm not one of those people who say like it's the second right in the Constitution, so it's the second most important thing after the First Amendment. All of our rights are equally important, but the Second Amendment especially, because you can see the hypocrisy of the GOP when they violate it, and it disproves everything MAGA stands for. And to my point, the GOP is complicit in violating all of your rights. They do not care. And honestly, I don't know what to expect next. You know, I go to college. I'm a university student. And honestly, it's not that far out of the question where Trump's politics play will get into and interfere my learning, or they will discriminate against us as a group of people who are just trying to get a higher education so we can get into the professional sphere. What if he discriminates against all college people who go to college because they're all radical leftists and they're all terrorists and they're all Antifa? You know, when voting comes around, when midterms come around, when generals come around, we're going to see the full extent of his authoritarianism. And if you don't fucking understand that, you are brainwashed. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about. But really look and see what's going on around us. And if you are a true Second Amendment guy or gal, whatever, you should really pay attention to what's going on. And if you're GOP and you claim to be 2A and support MAGA, go fuck yourself. See you guys.